are here in the Horsch booth at the Commodity Classic. A really impressive booth. They've got a lot of great products. The Maestro we probably are more familiar with, that's the planter. But then they've got the Avatar over there. They've got some sprayers, some tillage. Let's see what we can find out about this product, especially the air seeder, since a lot of you, like me, are interested in the air seeding equipment. This is the electric drive metering system from Horsch, and what you've got here is electric motor. You can see the almost like a 2-meter roller system for the dual chute, and then 4-inch primary. A couple different meter options here. Now these are poly. We do now offer them in stainless with a cutoff, shut-off gate. So if that'd be something you want to be able to shut off the product up above to be able to service the meter, that's an awesome solution, and they're not that much. They're like under $1,000 a piece. Some guys have said that they've had issues with these collapsing. It looks like they've addressed that with these rods that keep the distance. I got Seth, one of the guys at Horsch here.
There.
Would you mind taking us around and showing us all about the Avatar?
Yeah, so Avatar, it's our single disc air seeder. Has two 83 bushel seed tanks on there, so lots of capacity.
Mm-hmm.
You can run them at the same time, separate, or just one if you just want to have a small plot you're doing.
Okay.
Use this for soybeans, wheat, cover crop, small grains.
Mm-hmm.
We'll move on to the back here. As we look at this, we're looking at big tires. So what we're doing is less compaction, big footprint. With this machine, it's similar to our Maestros. We're going to use chassis weight transfer and actually lift most of that weight from the chassis back to the toolbar. So that way we're able to keep that toolbar stable, keep it in the ground.
Good downforce.
Where you have good downforce. With this, we're up to 550 pounds of downforce per row unit. So we're able to keep those row units in the ground where they need to be.
Okay, do you know how that compares with the competitors?
I know we're higher than most. I'm not sure if we're higher than all. But
okay.
As for exact numbers, I'm not sure.
Sounds good. And I understand you have a weight transfer system to the wings. Is that
Yes,
through this cylinder here?
So this cylinder here, we're pushing that weight out to the toolbars. And we'll use these cylinders here to actually push that onto that rock shaft.
Onto the rock shaft.
And push those units down. It comes up and through. It's going to travel through this. This will get inflated when that fan's on.
Okay.
We divide our tower up. That way the seed's flowing evenly through this. And then these ripples here are creating a disturbance similar like you get in a car with a window down. So it's going to create a lot of turbulence in the air, keep that seed evenly distributed as it's coming up to the tower. We'll get this out of the way. We'll touch on that here in a second. But as that comes up to the tower, we're getting even distribution because we're not having all the seed on one side of the tower. And it's going to flow down. You'll notice we have this nice trellis system going down. So our seed tubes are always flowing down.
Okay.
There's never any spaghetti bowls. There's no P-traps in them.
These look like 1.25 hoses too, aren't they?
Yes. It's a 32 millimeter. We're just switching to 1.25 on the newest models, so lines up better with the American.
Yeah, you can find the hose.
You can find the hose anywhere this way.
Yep.
As we do that again, no spaghetti hoses, no P-traps for any seed to get trapped in. It's gravity the whole way down with that air pushing it through.
Okay.
So that first piece I moved here, we're on 10-inch spacing on this machine. So if you want to run 20-inch beans, you put this into the tower here, and that plugs every other row, gives us that 20-inch spacing.
Oh, okay. That's a drop-in split. Yeah.
You got it. Essentially, yeah. It's a drop-in
to do your soybeans
screws.
No, this is interesting. You've got another.
Yes, this is new this year for the Avatars in the U.S. These are row cleaners. So you got small grain or heavy residue from corn. We'll actually use this, and you can adjust that to just whisk away some of that residue. Makes a nice clean furrow as it's going through.
Yeah.
We don't want it moving dirt. We just need it moving that residue out of the way. Makes just a little bit better of a seed bed, more of a clean spot coming up. It's not going to fight through that residue and breaking its neck as it's coming around something.
How does it do with heavy residue? Like, is there a limit to what this can do?
There's going to be a limit somewhere. We've run it in 240 bushel corn and still done really well with it.
Okay.
It does a good job of pushing it. Again, we're not going to clean out everything because we're 10-inch spacing. We don't want to throw everything to the next row, but we're just kind of whisk off that top heaviest stuff.
Okay.
That way the seed can come through without breaking its neck.
Can you easily pin this up or get it out of the way? Yep, there's a cylinder down there, looks like.
Here, and then there as well.
Okay.
And with that, you'll adjust. That's where you're going to adjust how aggressive you want those up and down.
Yep.
But then also these have timing marks on them, so you can adjust the angle on that.
Oh, okay.
Forward and aft that way, if you got light residue and don't need to move much, you can have it just real light. If you got heavier residue, turn it a little more aggressive and move more of it out of the way.
Okay. Excellent.
That's like I said, that's new for 2025. I've been testing it overseas for a few years and really like it, so decided to bring it here to the American farmers. So here's our Avatar row unit. A few great features on this, no service points back here. So this entire machine only has 10 grease zerks. And so very simple.
For this whole machine?
This entire machine, 10 grease zerks.
Wow.
So super clean, super simple. Those are going to be all on full points. And so that's the only reason for those. When we look at the row unit, here's your depth adjustment. You pull the spring, adjust it up and down. So our seed boot here is adjustable, so as it wears, you can actually adjust it further down. That way you get some extended life out of that seed boot instead of having it locked in one spot.
What size does the disc start out new?
This is a 19-inch seed disc on these.
Okay. And then what's the process to change that up and down?
Yeah, so
is it these two Allen bolts?
It's just these two Allen bolts, and then you push them through, adjust up or down. You could start at the top, but you only get about 500 acres. So we start in the middle, and then you can adjust that bottom setting.
Okay.
And that's just going to depend on soil conditions. If you're real sandy, something real abrasive, you're going to move through that a little quicker. If it's more light, loamy soils, it's going to last a lot longer.
All right. I see you got a firming wheel.
Yep. So firming wheel, press wheel, whatever
really
you call
flexible.
That. Very flexible. It helps it shed mud. It's going to squish down into that trench and make sure we're getting that good seed to soil embedment. That seed needs good seed to soil contact to start absorbing moisture. Okay. So that's where that's critical at. A couple different adjustments there. You can make it more or less aggressive how hard that's pushing down on that, and then also on our closing wheel. Closing wheel here, this one single closing wheel. This is our notch setup. We also offer it solid. And then just like the row cleaners, this is adjustable. So if you want to throw more or less soil back onto your row, you can adjust the timing on this as well. So there's going to be a couple timing notches here.
Okay.
And so if you want it real aggressive, a lot of soil back on it, you can. If you want just a little bit of
soil, a built-in angle
on
changer.
Exactly right.
Yeah. That's slick.
So our disc is going to be at a 6-degree angle offset this way, and then 3-degree cant on it as well.
Okay.
And what that does is allows us to actually close it with just one single closing wheel. Instead of making a typical V this way, it's set this way. So that single closing wheel is able to close that back in and make sure, again, we get good seed to soil contact, get that seed to start imbibing water and getting growing as quick as we can.
All right. This looks like a 2 3/4 gauge wheel.
I believe that's right, 2 3/4, yes.
Okay.
We expect these to last,
2.5
several thousand acres. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's easy replacement if you need to.
How do they do in mud? Do you feel like a guy needs spoked if he's got a lot of mud situations?
We don't offer this in a spoked right now. Haven't really seen a need for it. If it's that muddy, don't drag it out. Of course, it happens in the spring and the fall. Things get wet. You need to get some acres finished up. It happens. But if it's that muddy that you're really plugging this thing up, it's too muddy to be out in the field.
Okay. Can a guy do 3-inch wide? Is there a narrow gauge wheel?
So I do not offer a 3-inch on these or anything wider because we're on 10-inch spacing. If we go too wide, then we start bumping bolts on the next one over.
Okay.
But that's the reasoning for the setup on these.
Okay.
You'll also notice we just run a single rank, so we don't get any stepping effect. We're not having one row throwing soil back on the next row and uneven.
Sure.
We're able to keep it consistent and even seed bed across the entire machine. And that way when that seed, we're getting that consistent seed depth, which means consistent emergence coming up as well.
Yep.
So if everything can be perfect that way, in that single rank, everything's coming up at the same time, that's great for wheat, that's great for soybeans. Have everything coming up together.
Excellent. What speeds are you advertising this goes to?
I think we advertise it goes to 9. Most of my guys are running more 10, 11 mile an hour.
Really?
Again, it depends on conditions. If it's real hilly, real rocky, let's slow that down to maybe 7. More flat, smooth ground, push that 10 mile an hour, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
So our meters, you're going to select a different meter based on your speed and desired rate that you're putting on whichever crop it is you're seeding. But with that, again, it's going to tell us, hey, that's good up to 10, 12 mile an hour. And let's make sure we just dial that in, get the right meter, and we can do it.
Okay. How many bushels is your tanks?
Yeah, so it's both of them are 83 bushels, so you have 166 bushel capacity on this machine.
Okay.
We offer, this is a 40-foot machine. We also offer 60-foot machines. With those 60-foot machines, we go 240 bushel, and then 240, and then 320 bushel would be the biggest on the 60-foot setup. We have a new 66-foot machine coming out, higher capacity yet. I don't know the exact specs on that, but that's coming out this summer, we'll have more information on that.
More capacity on the tanks.
Higher capacity as well. So,
with that kind of speed, it probably feel like you're filling a lot.
yes, with those speeds, with that bigger 60-foot machine, I'm more in that 8-9 mile an hour is kind of where I'm comfortable at. Again, higher capacities, but also higher speed, higher width. You're going to be filling quite a bit, so, especially on, say, soybeans. So, cover crop, lower pounds per acre. Obviously, you're going to be getting more acres per hour that way in these fields.
All right. Hey, thanks for the time, Seth.
Absolutely. Thank
Very
you.
helpful.
Nice to meet you.
This avatar is somewhat intriguing to me because it's a different way of doing things. I've never seen anything like this. Maybe some of this stuff is in Europe. I'm just not familiar with it. Certainly some versions of this are in South Africa, but bringing it to North America, let's get a test side by side with like a John Deere drill, a Case drill, New Holland, even a Bourgault, things like that would be a great test to see how this compares in the conditions that we face and the scales we farm at over here. I know that the bushels he talked about on the tanks is going to seem a little small, but maybe with the speeds and the way this thing works and functions and performs, that's going to be worth it still. I'm intrigued. I want to see this in action. I want to see the trash flow through here. Those trash whippers, just the fact that you can get those up and out of the way quickly, the simplicity of this, adjusting it, working on it, that's a really good design and feature. I'm really liking it so far. We got the torsion tube type suspension, the torsion tube downforce. That's going to help with ride quality, I think, with the bounce, and it's an interesting way to do it. I wonder how long all this lasts compared to your traditional pivots that we're used to. Make sure you like and subscribe to keep up on all the fresh content posted weekly, which includes helpful tips and tricks, new products, and various adventures. Also, make sure you check out Reddy's website to shop our performance air seeder solutions.